So now we'll be talking about how to delete items from our diary entries. So in order to do delete, at its basis, or like I said, its root, we have to create a method that is going to be a delete method. And this method will respond to delete action from our browser. And we will test this through Fiddler. So let's go ahead and do that first. So here's our object, public object for now, delete. And we need to know what we're deleting. So for our entries, we need to delete our ID of the, we need the actual diary ID that these entries are part of. And then we also need just the ID of the actual entry that we want to delete. So our delete will take two parameters. And for now, it does need a return type since we're doing the object. And we can return null, which is not very useful. But so now we actually have our delete. And if we call the delete, it would work, but it wouldn't do anything. So the first step that we need to do is we need to go ahead and delete, do the deletion. And in order to do deletion, we will call our repository. We will do delete diary entry, which we then take our ID. And the next step of deletion, we have to call repository save all. So these two lines of code would actually do our deletion, but when dealing with these methods for Web API, we need to pay a lot of attention to how they're architected, because they actually handle a lot of things that are important but not very visible. Like there's no UI, there's nothing there that is visual. So how this deletion process, for example, works, it's very important that it's well architected. So one of the first things that we need to do when doing the delete is, well, we need to make sure that we return something meaningful, whether the delete actually happened or if it didn't. So let's do that really quick. So in order to do that, we create if-else statements. So if deletion happens and save all goes through, then we return our request that create response to HTTP status code OK. Otherwise, we create request create response HTTP status code bad request. And since we're returning the status code, we need to change our object now to actually be a HTTP response message type. The next important thing to do when architecting our delete is to ensure that this entry already exists in our list of diary entries. So sort of check for the duplicates. So in order to do that, we would have to call the repository and get a list of all our entries first, and then compare that list entries, each ID compared to the ID that we have using the any link method. So here it is, we're calling the repository get diary entries. We have to pass these two variables to get our list of diary entries. Then we use any, and we pass in the link, we pass the ID from each one of our diaries that we have in the list. and we're comparing it to our ID, if the hit happens, it will return true. If we counted this different, we actually want it only if it's false. So if the ID is not found, basically, we need to go ahead and return a response here, not found. So if the ID is not found in the list, we are returning the response not found. Otherwise, we're going ahead and doing our deletion. And then another very important part when crafting post or delete or any of these entries is to definitely put inside a try catch, and in the catch return the exception. So included in try catch an exception EX and return request create error response bad request and passing the EX. So now we can go ahead and test this using the fiddler. So in the fiddler we do delete. We put the link of the entry that actually has the ID of the one that we want to delete. It's in our URI here. We only have a user agent here and a host. We don't have a body or anything else. So we hit execute, and here we are inside of delete, getting our ID there. And let's see what happens. It's already run this, so let's see if it's a duplicate or not. So I have to step into so this has actually already been deleted, so it's not found. We continue, and see we got a 404 not found. So we need to find the entry that exists. So I'll actually go ahead and add a new one real quick. Behind the scenes, I'll do the post, and then I'll delete it. So I just went ahead and did the post. And the like we can see here, I actually got a new entry with the ID 18. So what I can do now, I can go to here and do delete of the 18. We have to remove the request body. We have to remove content length and this content type JSON. We need to go ahead and put number 18 here, but this is the one that we just added. We want to go ahead and delete it. And execute should take us to here, to our delete. And now it should actually go ahead and delete. So it's deleting, and it's going to return a response OK. And there it is, 200 OK. So that's how we do appropriately do deletion in our web API.